Hey guys, Nathan from Arms of Villain here, and today we've got another custom saber reveal. This time we're going to be looking at this Saberforge Reborn that I just finished up for Matt. There's a little bit of a story behind this this particular saber. Matt was actually, in my opinion, very lucky. He purchased this as a gift. It's intended as a Christmas gift for his daughter, and he actually had originally purchased a mystery box from Saberforge. What he received was a weathered Reborn stunt with a royal blue LED. In my opinion, that's a pretty good pull for something that's $125, $145, whatever with shipping, but all in all, he came out ahead, most certainly. However, Matt didn't really like the weathering on the hilt, and I can't really blame him. Saberforge's weathering is not necessarily the most natural look. Basically what they do is they anodize the hilt and then they run it on a lathe to give it kind of a scraped up, a weathered look, but it ends up being a little bit too even. He actually said it looked like a vinyl record. Kind of agree with him on that. So what we ended up doing for this build, he had asked me to fix the weathering. So the first thing I did on this Reborn is brought out the sandpaper and went to town on it. And as you can see, I took off most of Saberforge's original weathering. Now I left some of it in the low lying areas to help keep it natural looking, and I think it turned out absolutely fantastic. Did a little bit there on the claws, but as you can see, really took it down to bare aluminum or near bare aluminum in a lot of areas. So a radical change from Saberforge's weathering. Otherwise, to be honest with you, I really like this hilt. I'm a KOTOR fan. Anything Revan related certainly has some appeal to me. I don't know if that's the case for Matt necessarily, but I really love the way this guy turned out. Inside we have a Tri-Cree XPE2 in royal blue, red, and amber. Matt had asked for an indigo blade, which is actually, I don't know if he realized it or not at the time, but it's actually pretty appropriate for this lightsaber. This is Revan's offhand hilt, and it is a purple blade. In the, well, I guess it's not technically canon, but in the story, that it is a purple blade, so it works out really well in the indigo. I just used a little bit more, or I used a little bit stronger resistor on that red to help bring it a little bit closer to blue. You'll see it in a moment when I turn it on. Back here, and I'll show you it all here in a moment. I guess I can go ahead and start opening it. We've got a Nano Biscotte version 4. Fantastic board by Plecter Labs. Huge fan of that. An 18650 lithium-ion battery. A 10-energy cell. A 28 millimeter bass speaker. And all of that is in a GOTH chassis. So I did a little bit of painting on it, added some accents, but other than that, it's the basic Saberforge sized chassis system from GOTH 3D Designs with the speaker holder and all of that. Up front, got a silver AV switch, and then I went ahead and painted the recharge port silver as well to match everything. Before I turn it on, the custom fonts that we have on this, there are two. Matt had sent me two fonts from Genesis Custom Sabers. The first one that you're going to hear should be Rogue, although I'm not exactly sure where I left this, so we'll just have to kind of wing it. And then the first one should be Karelian, and then Rogue after that. I left Gray Meat as the third instead of using the original third bank option, which is Dark Meat, because I frankly think that Gray Meat is the best font that's included stock on the Nano Biscotte. One thing I should mention, Matt, if you're watching this, and I just put the chassis back in, there is a little bit of wobble in that chassis. I'm not going to put any kind of electrical tape or vinyl on it to act as a buffer before I send it to you. You can decide however you want to handle that. Really up to you, not a big deal. Just give it a little bit of like a wrap around that speaker holder and you should eliminate most of it. But overall, I think this thing turned out really, really nicely. I'm going to go ahead and put a blade in it. This is just an Ultra Saber's mid-grade blade that I cut down and sanded. It's become kind of my standard demo blade. Fits very tightly in this hilt, but nevertheless works fine. Tighten down the screw so it doesn't go flying on me. Alright, so let's go ahead and boot it up. Now it should be in deep sleep mode right now, so let's go ahead and hit the button once. And I believe that is actually the Rogue sound font. Now Karelian and Rogue are both fairly similar. They've got a very electric, very static style hum, but it is stable sounding. It's not like an unstable blade. And then they have these kind of crescendos in the midst of that hum. So it's like the Saber has some life to it. It's not just sitting there a plain hum. Now I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but the blade looks, at least from what I can see in the camera, to be blue. That's because, as far as purples go, this is a very, very blue purple. Go ahead and swing it around. Once again, superb responsiveness from that Nano Biscotte V4 soundboard. And you can see, for this, and like I said, I believe this is the Rogue sound font, I've got just a tiny amount of the indigo, and then I'm mixing that with the amber, so you get kind of a dull yellow. Very dramatic flash on clash, probably the most dramatic I've done. I do so many Vader hilts, and I use that white on top of the red for that, and it's kind of, this is certainly far more noticeable, far more dramatic, because it's a totally different color. It's actually almost on the opposite of the light color spectrum. So you can see, and as always, with the Nano Biscotte V4, you've got the 16 clash and the 16 swing sounds. Let's go ahead and turn it off. In between each font, once again, as always with the Nano Biscotte, you've got the mute on the go. This is great for stunt purposes, or if you're wanting to use the Saber and you don't want to wake up everybody in your house late at night, you still get the same lighting effects there. Let's go ahead and turn it off. And hold down the button a little bit longer. And this is gray meat. So I was right, that was the Rogue sound font there. Font bank 2 that I had left it on. Let's go ahead. Standard gray meat, a little bit deeper sounding font. And you can see I'm getting those false clashes. That's because there is a little bit of wiggle in that chassis. Matt, when you get this, go ahead, stick some electrical tape or some vinyl around that chassis to tighten it up a little bit. Should be pretty simple. With this one, I left a little bit more of the indigo in there for the clashes. I think that what it ultimately means is you get something like a peach for the flash on clash. It's a different look. I don't want all the fonts to be the same. So I feel like if you got 3 of them, you might as well vary things up as much as you can. This also has a little bit more flicker in the blade during the hum. Let's go ahead and turn it off again. And we'll go on to that final font bank, which is actually in bank 1, and that is Karelian. Now once again, even though these are both Rogue and Karelian are from Genesis Custom Sabers, they do sound fairly similar. a low, subtle hum, a fairly stable sounding blade with a little bit of electric sound going on there as well. This just doesn't seem to have quite as much of that crescendo during the hum, I guess you could say. It's got, of the three fonts that are on here, I would say it has the strongest swings, and also has some flutter in it. A little bit like a Vader swing, actually. Let's go ahead and... There. And you can see, for this one, I take out almost all of the indigo. I didn't get rid of all of it, because I thought that the amber actually wasn't really yellow. It was a little bit too orangey for me, so I left some of the indigo in there in order to get that more to a normal yellow, and then really shortened up those flickers. I mean, you can see it flickers. The flash on clash, I should say, has been shortened on this font so that it's more dramatic. So you can see it there. So I'll go ahead and turn it off. I think that pretty well covers it. This was a fun build. I haven't done too many Saberforge hilts to this point. A lot of Ultra Sabers, a lot of Master Replicas / Hasbro Force Effects conversions, so it was nice to do something different, and I really hope that Matt's daughter likes this. Those of you who have any questions about this build or anything else that anything else Saber related you might want to know, go ahead and post that in the comments. I also will put a link in the description to my website where I have price listings, information about if you're interested in having one of these builds done or a conversion of some sort. You can hit me up there, fill out the form on the site, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, you want to see more of these, I've got several other builds coming, including a comparison of the new Pico Crumble soundboards. Be sure to subscribe, like this video, and come back and check that out when I get that up here in a couple days. As always, thanks for watching, guys.